Yeah, making sure everything is up. Hello, and welcome to the Quietly Visible podcast. I'm your host, Carol Stewart, founder of Abounding Solutions and author of Quietly Visible, Leading with Influence and Impact as an Introverted Woman. And this is the podcast for introverted women who want to thrive as leaders and in life, as well as for those of you who want to lead as your authentic self. And for those of you who, if you are not subscribed to this channel, then do hit the subscribe button and do share with friends, colleagues, family, people that you know who would benefit from listening as well. Today's topic is one which I think is very important for introverted leaders. And in leadership, we often see that high energy or fast is best, loud is best, visible is best. But my guest today is Janesha Jane, and we're going to be talking about strategic silence and how to redefine leadership energy, and something which I know that you introverted leaders will benefit from. And so just to I'll let Janesha tell you about herself, but just to give you a bit of a quick introduction, she's a first generation Indian immigrant, a data strategist, and real estate entrepreneur who challenges the modern obsession with hustle. And I like that because I think we have become very obsessed with hustle, we're constantly on the go, fast paced. Even the way that we consume information is fast. Everything is done at speed. And sometimes we just need to be still and slow down. So hello, Janesha, and welcome.
Hey, Carol, thank you so much.
It's great to have you here. So before
Yeah.
we look at strategic stillness and how to redefine leadership energy, tell us a little bit about you. Who is
Yes,
Janesha?
would love to. And I would like to take you all a little back in the time with myself. I was born and brought up in India. I have a younger sister, and growing up, we were very grateful that our parents provided us with a much comfortable life. We never had to ask for anything. Growing up, being with friends, um, seeing how comfortable life is, being grateful for it. One thing that I did notice early is that I have this feeling of always giving back, not knowing how to pursue that or channel that, but I always knew that I want to do something that I can give this life back to my parents when the time comes for me to be responsible for them. So as I was growing, that unsaid responsibility was growing on my shoulders as well. Fast forward to a couple of years, and in 2018, I came to United States to pursue my master's, and then I got into the corporate world. And as we all know, it's that loop that once you're into it, there's always a race, and you become very competitive. So that unsaid responsibility is what made the fuel for me here, because I came with a purpose, I came with ambition. I had just very less years because my parents were turning old. So it's like these many years, and I want to achieve so much, it's so that I'm comfortable, my future life's comfortable, my parents are comfortable. And that, in very short, created the Janesha who was there in the situation before Stillness. She was ambitious, she was passionate, she was always on a go, never looking back. No times for celebrations and joy, and just moving on from one achievement to next. It did help me get to a level that I became a senior analyst at one of the big corporates. I started my own real estate company. Then there was a moment that I would like to talk about next, but so far, this is how the Janesha she was, who she was.
Mhm. Okay, thank you for that. And so what is that moment that you'd like to talk about? What happened
Yeah.
next?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm,
So, you might be wondering that, everything sounds kind of good on paper. So, what really happened here? And to be honest, Carol, I did feel successful. I did feel that things were coming to me and I was moving forward. But at the same time, there was this feeling of emptiness and heaviness at the
mhm,
same time. And I did realize a lot of women, especially around myself, we come with a lot of feathers on our hat. You are a mother, you're a sister, you are an executive, you could be an athlete, you could be representing your nation, you could be representing your household, you could be representing your child. In so many ways, you are carrying that we often forget to look into for ourselves. So I've started to realize that, but still, because I was building so much, the focus was I cannot even take a minute to slow down because what if I fall behind? What if that I have built so far crashes out? So the goal was just keep looking forward and just don't pause, and keep building. So keeping the momentum while everything was building around myself, there was nothing being built within myself, and
mhm.
the feeling of emptiness and heaviness kept on growing. But I kept a layer on it so that nobody could see that. But as we all know, mothers know everything. I was once on a call with my mother, and she asked me something very out of the blue that I couldn't answer. She asked me in my native language, it's called "tukushe," which means "Are you happy?" And I was like, "Yeah, what do you mean?" Um, and then she paused and then she said something that absolutely was the turning point for me. She said, "You don't have the same smile you used to have." And then I was like, I couldn't answer her. But she unripped the band-aid that I had told myself I'm okay and put on myself.
Mm.
Um, why is the case if I am building everything, I should be happy, I'm successful on paper. So what am I really missing? How come this heaviness is still there? How come my smile changed? How come even with technology all around us, we are getting even more busier? Those things started to come to me, and that was the very much of a turning point for myself.
Yes, and that is something that, I do see time and time again that, we become so consumed with achieving success,
Mm,
and that we become so busy, and I mean, some people they kind of lose themselves in that
yeah,
process. But it was good that your mum picked up on that she saw that, well, yes, you were achieving all these great things, but there was something missing. She didn't see in you.
absolutely.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She made me rethink the definition of success, the definition
Mm-hmm,
of happiness, the definition
mm-hmm,
of ambition.
mm-hmm,
And I think that was very crucial at the time it happened because, as you said, sometimes you put on the layers so much that you forget the real you. And the
mm-hmm,
journey who started and the destination where you reach, you often ask yourself, is this the same Janisha? Is this the same Carol who started the journey? What happened to her
mm-hmm.
along the way? Where did I leave her behind? And
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I'm not on that journey.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, you say that. I came across a podcast on YouTube
Mhm.
today. Actually, it was just this morning,
Yeah.
which kind of ties into what we're talking about, and how we define success. And it was a guy called, and he's called Barry's Economics, and he
Mhm.
talks about how podcasts like The Diary of a CEO is making us less successful because all they
Mm.
do is feature people who are successful, and
Oh.
they share their formula of success, which everybody is striving for. But that's like a bit far from reality. We
Uh-huh.
don't see the more people who've tried the same thing that they've done and it's not worked for them. And
Yeah.
so we've become, it's like we've become always wanting this success.
Yeah.
And attracted to those people who talk about their success and make it look like, well, they've done this, they did this, and this is how they got their success. And as a
Yeah.
result, they're so fabulous.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the first time I've actually looked at it like that, because I watched Diary of a CEO.
Yeah.
But that's really got me thinking about, I
Yeah.
mean, I know that when it comes to success, I have my own definition of what success means for me, which may not be the same for everybody else. And that is a
Right.
message that I always um, give out, is that
Yes.
define your own success, what your own measures of success is, and let it be meaningful to you and not what society, culture, the world says that it should be. So yes,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting that this came along this podcast that I was listening to came along as we're having this conversation.
Yes, that's definitely a very different perspective to it. And
Mm,
I do believe that, especially in the world we are today, everybody wants to go ahead and be better than the people around you. But I look at it kind of like the way, if my neighbor gets a sports car, yes, my first thought would be, oh, I wish I had that. But I think maybe if I get in a position to have that, I have the car with me 3 days out, it's just another car.
mhm,
I look at people who come on these, on different podcasts, or who are on platforms which are highly visible, and be like, oh, I wish I had the success they had. But I truly believe that the joy is not having the success at the level, but joy is in the journey for you to get there.
mhm,
I
mhm,
often ask myself that if I close my eyes and if I think that I have everything, I have a bigger bank balance, I have a bigger house, I have a bigger and better car, is that all? Would that be all for me? What would I be doing after that? Once I
mhm,
do have everything. And that brought me back to a realization much sooner that the joy is not just becoming that, it's the journey in between that'll take me there, that'll transform me as a person, that'll push me to not just bring myself up, but put my people around myself up as well. And I truly get excited about this when I think of that there are going to be challenges, there are going to be ups and downs, and I'm so up for that, because what's in it without just being nothing in it. So I come from that perspective, and I truly agree with you that oftentimes we just think of or listen to um, the ways to get successful quick, or often on Instagram it's like 3 ways to get rich,
mhm.
and and your mind automatically thinks, oh well, maybe there's a shortcut to it.
Yeah.
um, and maybe if I do what she did or he did, maybe I will have the same results. But often back, the magic is in what you can do for yourself, because it's your life, it's your perspective, it's your wisdom, and it's your experience, along with the values and beliefs that you're built with, that will really shape you. So
Mhm.
yeah, I truly agree with what you said
Yeah,
too.
and I want to explore how you got to this, or what led you to this strategic silence, and discovering what that meant for you and what it
Yeah.
means, and explaining it. But before we do, I just want to touch on what we've just been talking about, um, and what you mentioned about Instagram, or 3 ways to success, or 3 ways to this and that and that and that.
Yeah.
But people have just become so consumed by that. It's hard for
Yeah.
some people to move away from that, because that- it's that become also all consuming, that
Yeah.
this is how it is. And then because everything is so quick, so instant, and um, people then go down this path of
Yeah.
pursuing that and chasing that, don't they?
Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
And I feel like you're chasing something which not there at the very first time. So,
Mm.
and then you realize, wait, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And
mm,
you come back to ground zero to ask yourself that you should have done at the very first thing, that do I really want that? Do I really believe in that? And I think often people get glamorized, and run away from the discomfort of asking these deeper questions to themselves,
mm, mm,
um, which indeed would have actually led them to what they want much quicker. Um, so I would appreciate if everybody who's in this loop to take some time out to ask yourselves these much deeper questions,
yeah.
before you step into something.
Yeah, and I think that is otherwise you're chasing something which, has all the glitter and all the gold, but can you may get to it and find that it's actually meaningless. It doesn't give
Absolutely,
your life meaning, does it? Mhm. So
absolutely.
strategic silence. So how did you get to that place of discovery about strategic silence? And tell us about that.
Yes, yes. Well, I'll be absolutely honest. When I had that conversation with my mother, that question kept on brewing in me for the next couple of days. So I came to finally the point of acceptance that yes, what I'm doing is not absolutely in the fullest way that I have been building something. There is something missing, and I'm going to take some action towards it. I don't know what yet. I'm not sure what will help me, but let's start building the internal growth as well, and as passionately as in building the outer world and material world as well. So after that acceptance, I'll be honest, Carol, I went to Instagram as well, because in the same hush hush, while listening to everybody and the glitter and the glamour, I thought maybe I'll find my answers there. I did practice a couple of things that I heard, that this will help you release stress, or this is what you need to do if you feel overwhelmed, or this is what you need to be saying or doing to become the next leader in your journey in your corporate world. I did try a couple of things. Did they work for me? Maybe not. But they did lead me to one technique that absolutely flipped the scene for me. And it brought me back to breathing, something we
Mm,
all start our journey with, and it's the last thing we let go of. Also, it really helped me because in today's world, everybody's like, oh, I do not have 20 minutes, 30 minutes just for myself. Tell me something quick. This was quick. You're breathing all the time. All you
mhm,
need to do is just be intentional about it. It only requires a couple of minutes for you to sit down, do a couple of breathe in a specific technique that I would love to share with you as well. And that's about it. What it
mhm,
changed for me really is that I instantly started to see results in myself in terms of I felt more calmer. I felt like there were 50 tabs open in my head, and now there's just one. I can actually focus on something without keeping the back burner, or without thinking whether I locked my door, whether I emailed her or not, whether I sent her the report or not. I felt present while talking to somebody. And the even better goal was that at work, I was doing something, and I always have this feeling that I'm doing a lot. But in reality, I wasn't doing that much. And that changed. I started to pick up more projects. I started to get highlighted in the eyes of my leadership. People started to notice me and my work and the impact it was having. My business decisions, which would have taken me weeks, have started to take me days. The feedback I got from people around me is that, hey, I felt like you really listened to me today.
mm.
The relationship with my parents changed. Before doing the technique, I always was like, Mom, I have a lot to do. I'll call you. Did I really have a lot to do? Could I not even carve out 2 minutes? What the mental rehearsal was that, oh, I have a lot to do. I am too occupied. There's a lot of work on my shoulders. When in reality, it could have been done in a much efficient way if I was just doing the right ways, and rather than taking on the load mentally, I would have there could have been various ways where I could have occupied stillness and do the same amount of work, but in a much more efficient way. So I'm trying to show this contrast to show you where I was and what really flipped
Mm,
for me. After seeing these changes, my my confidence in this really started to bring up. And I'll leave the suspense and a little surprise towards the end to show you what I actually do. But before this, when I saw the changes coming up, I was like, you know what? I want to do this more because things are improving. So I kept on doing. And then I started to notice change in the relationship with myself, the way I see myself, the way I present myself, the way I talk to people about myself, or the way I talk to myself about myself. And that really started to change. I started to give mirrors high five. I started to wake up with a smile without having the feeling that I'm going on a war today. And I felt much more confidence in my skin, in my thoughts, in the way I'm expressing myself. So that started to change and really come to my notice. And I was like, this is working. Let's do more of this. But coming from the much more of analytical mind, I always had this question that what is changing in my body? Why is suddenly I start to feel better in the same environment? Why did my reaction change to something I was responding earlier? And how is this happening? And when I went in depth, the technique is called the Brahmari Pranayama, which is the humming bee breath. And then I went into the science of it. And that really opened up my mind about what it does and how it does to your body. And
mm.
I would love to show you or demonstrate you. We can do it together as well and give a beautiful start to the day.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And so, before we do the technique,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about the science about, because I mean, breath is something that, I talk about with clients who are maybe anxious or nervous about just calming down the breath and the importance of it. But let's tell us a little bit about the science behind it. What is
Yes.
it? Why it is so important?
Yes, absolutely. When I started learning about this, one thing that I did notice is breathing is absolutely, it's the life in you.
Mm,
So when you're talking somebody to somebody and you're afraid and you're nervous, if you're just a little more cautious, you'll see your breathing pattern change. If you're talking to your loved ones or your children, your partner, again, if you put a little more focus on your breathing, you'll see that your breathing pattern changed. It's slowed down, you're much more calm, you're taking longer and deeper breaths. So that was very evident to me that it does have our emotions have an effect on you. What I didn't know is that if you change your breathing, you can change the very much of the emotions that you're feeling as well. So the reverse engineering was what that absolutely opened my mind. And when I learned specifically about the humming bee breath, how it works is that while you inhale, you exhale hummingly like a to make that vibration. What it does is that it creates vibrations and frequency that actually shifts your nervous system. So there is a something called vagus nerve in layman's
mm,
language. It's the nerve between our mind and the body that helps us communicate. And what it does is through this breathing, it makes you focus and calm at the same time. So you're much more calmer, but you're also much more focused. And I was like, how is this happening? It happens because it shifts your nervous system from the beta wave, which is always thinking, over analyzing, logically talking to yourself, towards the much more alpha wave that puts you or makes you do the same stuff, but in a much better stimulated way. So the parasympathetic responses change. And that when I learned absolutely changed the way I was looking at this. Then I started to look a little deeper into this. A lot of experimentation has been done using this breathing technique on different people, women who are pregnant, women who are in a highly stressed environment, women who have high BP or other chronic problems that a lot of stress and environments like this do cater. They started to see improvements in the um, and that's when my confidence in it really changed, and it was already at a level that I was doing it every day, but now I started to do it with much deeper joy, knowing that this is something that is not going to only help me but also people around me, and that brought me much more joy. So it really helps you shift your focus from always in chaos towards much more of clarity, always in overthinking and emotional exhaustion and burning out yourself to much more of a grounded and much more of a confidence you. And that's what really changed me.
Yeah. So so from how you described it, what's happening is it's the, when we're sort of, our minds are consumed with information, we're anxious, we're nervous, we're stressed, we're worrying, we're overthinking.
Yeah.
Our body stress response has kicked in, hasn't it? And so what this is doing is interrupting that body stress
Yeah.
response. Yeah.
Absolutely. It helps you, especially when you are in a position where you're about to talk to a C-level executive, you're about to present something, or you're
hmm
about to have a difficult conversation with somebody. And all you need is just a couple of moments to put yourself together. Make sure that when you talk, you're present, you're clear, you're grounded, you're confident to present yourself. It
hmm
gives you that power, and it really is the magic pill for me.
Okay, so let's go with the technique.
Oh, absolutely. The good thing is you don't need any equipments. All you need is yourself, and we'll be closing our eyes. I'll show you, Carol, how I do that. You'll be inhaling, and while exhaling, you'll be making a hum, which is just like a bee. Hmm.
Mm,
All I request you is do not clench your teeth. Keep your mouth closed, but do not clench your teeth. And we'll be closing our ears so that we can actually feel the vibration. Now that you've closed
mm,
your mouth, your ears, your eyes are closed, you can actually feel the vibration. We'll do it twice together. And if you really like it, put us on a pause and continue doing it and come back to listen to
mm.
us. But here it goes. We'll uh, sit tall, keep your legs either folded, or if you're in a chair, please do not do this while you're driving. Um, we'll sit up straight, closing our ears. Do not press them too hard. Close your ears and your eyes, and now we inhale. Exhale while hummingly. Let's do one more time. Once you're done, we'll come back and open our eyes.
Mm.
And that
That's a
goes.
new one for me because I've not heard of that technique before. There's others I've
Yeah,
heard of, but I will um, practice that because one
yeah.
I do is like breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing out for 4 seconds,
The
holding for
box
4 seconds. The
breathing.
box breathing, yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll try this technique.
Yes,
Mhm,
absolutely. Do it a couple of times and then increase it as and when you feel comfortable.
mhm,
There are much more levels to it, which we can always talk later on. But this, what it really does is as you listen yourself hum, as your body produces those vibrations, we all talk about frequency in today's time, and everybody loves that. That we match the frequency you want to be in, and is that those vibrations does something to your body. That the frequency that you are currently in, and maybe you're not liking, the focus is to shift that, to change that, to change the state of your mind. Because I truly believe something, Carol, is that your thoughts shape you. What
Yes,
you
definitely.
think is what you say and is what you do. And it also has a physiological effect on your body. And
Hmm.
for the people who don't believe me, think of something pleasurable and your body shows an erection. That means what you think instantly affected your body state. So if you think something positive, if you think something empowering, if you think something good for yourself or the people around yourself, your body is instantly feeding onto that. So the technique is to put you in a position that even if you have ups and downs, or the Monday blues are hitting, you can still give yourself something powerful to bring that shift back to where it's supposed to be.
Hmm. Yeah. And why is this so important for leaders?
Absolutely. I think in today's world, what gives you an edge is not your technical skills, it's not the AI skills, it's not the languages the Python, SQL, all the technical skills that you know, or not the knowledge about finance. I truly believe that all of that knowledge is so accessible that with AI, that information could be at the palm of your hands in seconds.
Hmm.
So my question when I was in the corporate is what can really give me an edge? How can I still be different from the people around myself? How can I become a better me that all these tools cannot still provide me? And that's where it came as the strategic stillness. It's not about pausing. I'm not asking you to not do what you do. I'm not asking you to lower your ambitions. I'm not asking you to take a pause and do nothing. Um, Absolutely not. Strategic stillness is more about giving yourself enough time and moments in the day that brings you back to catch up with yourself in a much more better way. And for leaders, you need to be much more of a clarity person. You need to be much more of a calm person. You need to be much more of a confident person because you're there to lead somebody, to aspire somebody, to manage a team, and to be at a position that people want to be at. So when you are at a much more grounded level, that's when you can reflect that and impact impact that on your work and over the people. Um, with that said, it's always true that the work is never going to be less. The stress is never going to, there will always be stress triggers. There will always be fire drills and emergencies. And so, what do you give yourself so that you know that I have a tool with me that even in those situations, I know how to bring myself back in a couple of minutes and not lose myself and let the situation take over me, rather still have control over that situation. Uh, so that's the goal that I have, that I can take this message on to the leaders.
Oh, thank you for that. This has been a wonderful conversation, so thank you, Janesha.
Absolutely.
And if people want to find out more about you, or explore this some more, where's the best place for them to go?
Yes, absolutely. I am as vocal as I was here on my Instagram. If you do want to hear a little bit more about my journey, if this resonated with you and you want to see me doing this technique one more time, I have recently done my TEDx, which is on YouTube. You can search up and look it up by my name and looking up by TEDx. We can do the technique together through that video. And if you do want to contact me or have a one on one session, I'm more than happy to get you connected with on Instagram or on LinkedIn. Again, you can look up by my name and we'll be more than happy to chat there.
Great, thank you. And we will put the links to where they can contact you in the show notes, as well as to your TEDx talk as well. We will link it in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thank you for so much, Janesha. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. And
Thank you, Carol.
listeners, do go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, and check out Janesha's TEDx talk as well. And for those of you who are looking to increase your confidence, influence, and impact, if you haven't completed the assessment on my website, go to aboundingsolutions.com. Under the free resources, there's an assessment that you can complete that will give you ideas about areas that you can focus on. And do share this episode because, we want as many people to experience this strategic stillness and the benefits that they can get from it as well. Until the next time, bye.